Boker Tov, friends. It's good to be with you this morning as we continue our journey through the Omer. So let us begin with a prayer of gratitude for this new day. Thought that sound was down. Okay, so now that we've offered this prayer for gratitude, saying, I'm thankful before you, living and enduring sovereign, for you have mercifully restored my soul within me. Great is your faithfulness. We can turn to our sixth week, our week that is all about becoming the vision. And before we do that, we need to say our blessing for this day of the Omer. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kedeshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sifi rata Omer. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who sanctifies us with mitzvot and commands us concerning the counting of the Omer. Hayom arba'im yom, shehem chamisha shavuot v'chamisha yamim la'omer. Today is 40 days, which is 5 weeks and 5 days of the Omer. I would love to welcome all of you who are here today to continue this journey of counting our way to the holiday of Shavuot. And so a huge good morning to Sarah and David, to Andrea and Diane, Hannah and Susan, Tom and Don, Michelle and Riva, Carrie and Marla, Pat and Cheryl, Boker Tov. It's so good to be with all of you. Bonnie, it's lovely to see you. And Pam, George and Rabbi Catherine, Rachel, Boker Tov. So good to be with all of you on this beautiful morning. So this whole week, right, we've been kind of inching ever closer towards Mount Sinai, and next week we're going to be talking about arriving, whatever that means, and there'll be a lot of different texts and ideas there. But this week of becoming the vision is in some ways a lot more challenging, because what does it mean to vision the future? And so I began thinking about the things that make us feel stuck, that sometimes we know that where we are, that what we're doing isn't quite working for us, but trying to figure out what the next steps are can be really, really challenging. So I came across this quote, which is by a novelist, Philip Roth, who essentially is saying that freedom begins in imagination. He writes, I think the first thing I smelled in literature was freedom. You could contemplate other realities freely. When you're with a book, nobody butts in. So I think that in the beginning, I came to literature because it fed the need for a more capacious environment. As Saul Bellow says, look at me, going everywhere. You didn't have to stay on Leslie Street in Newark. You didn't have to stay in your bedroom at home. You could be anywhere. You could go wherever you wanted, and you can be whatever you want to be. And that's pretty wonderfully heady. during a year in which we literally have spent a lot of times in our bedroom or in our home, I know that imagination and creativity has been something that has fueled us, whether through imagination in the kitchen by creating all sorts of breads, as so many of us have, or wonderful recipes, whether through our artwork or our music or other ways of expressing ourselves artistically. But this idea of imagination, it gives breath because sometimes in life we can feel stuck, not knowing what the step is. And we've talked about this before, how there's something called a scarcity mindset, where perhaps we only see a couple of options right in front of us. But imagination can help us to widen that gap, can help us to see that perhaps there's a lot more possibilities than we thought they were. On this week of becoming the vision, I want to just encourage all of us to lean into our imagination about where it is that we want to go, about ways that we could continue to enhance our lives at times of transition, which we've been in for quite some time now. Those are times filled with, I think, the most creative possibility. And there's one other text that I wanted to connect to this, which is something that we hear a lot, especially around the High Holy Days. And it does, I think, relate to the imagination. Because the text says, days are scrolls, write on them what you want to be remembered. This reminder that all of us, we have the ability to choose what is remembered about our life. And we do that through our actions and through our words. So today, let us lean into imagination as we think through how it is that we want our legacy to be remembered. Today's question is, what is the vision that you have about who you want to become at this moment in your life? Tomorrow we'll continue with another teaching of the Omer, of course. And let's first, before we kind of close this out and I let you know about a few other things that are going on, let us, as we always do, offer our Misha Barach prayer, our prayer for healing. Our prayer for healing for all those in India who are dealing with this absolutely awful surge of COVID-19. A prayer for healing for all the people in our community who are sick, perhaps a prayer for healing for you. A prayer for healing for anyone who is in need of extra strength of mind, of body, or of spirit. We sing together Debbie Friedman's version of this prayer. Misheberach Avoteinu Mekor HaBracha Lehimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misheberach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Lehavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirits, and let us say Amen. I hope everyone has a really wonderful day. Of course, we'll be able to come back together tonight for a really special Shabbat service at 7 p.m., where we are going to be honoring our phenomenal teachers in our Torah school and our equally phenomenal Board of Education, who has done so much to support them and to support our Director of Education, Randy Scher. So I hope that you will come and be a part of that. And tomorrow we'll come right back here to continue our journey through the Omer. I hope everyone has a day full of blessing.